Hello and happy Thursday. Sorry I'm not there today, but I'm there in spirit and sound. Alright, so we're going to go over two things here today. I'm going to give you some notes over the Babylonian Empire and their leader Hammurabi. Also, we're going to look at the Assyrians and Chaldeans, but most importantly, they're going to be known as the Assyrians. And then I'm going to have a video for you to watch on a new website called Edpuzzle, and I'll go over that a little bit later. As you are watching this now, go ahead and pause it right here so you can get out your notebook and open up that first section. Continue where we stopped. Alright, you've got your notebook out. If not, pause the video and get your notebook out. What are you doing? Come on now. And in your notebook, you're going to take these notes. As I'm going through this, if I'm going a little too fast for you, make sure to hit pause on your screen so that you can finish a note before I continue moving on. Here we go. Ready? Babylonian Empire and Hammurabi. What is up with it? Well, this dude named Hammurabi is going to become a powerful king who's going to rule this Babylonian Empire. And when he became king, why we remember him is he created a code of law, which is written laws for people to follow and obey. And the biggest thing that this written law did was it helped him control the people in his empire. Now, when we talk about code of law, we're going to look at some of these examples next week. And even though this is the first set of laws, and laws are going to help keep order, these were also very, very strict laws. Also, Hammurabi is going to use huge pillars in his cities of Babylon, which was a capital, to show off his laws. So if you were to look at this here browser, this picture here is looking at Hammurabi's pillar that I was just talking about. So here on the top, you got a picture depicting Hammurabi getting the code of law from one of their gods. So they believed that Hammurabi got it given to him from a god, and that's why it was just and it was good. Now down below, it's tiny little chicken scratch looking stuff. It's hard to read, right? If you were to zoom in, boom, it is cuneiform. Now if you were listening and you remember when we talked about scribes and writing, not everyone could read and write. So there's a problem, right? How are you going to know the law? Well, whenever laws were discovered or punishments were given, the people would know. It would be public trials, public executions in really bad cases, but also public punishments would be given. So the people would learn and know what the laws are as well. So it's not like everyone was totally ignorant to the law because they would hear it and see it happening regularly. Also, with Hammurabi's laws, this is going to create a first system of justice here. This justice is the idea of treating everyone fair and equal. For example, an eye for an eye. The law literally translates to basically, if you were to hit someone in the eye with something and they would go blind in that eye, that person who just went blind gets to hit you in the eye until you go blind. So an eye for an eye. If you take someone's eye out, they get to take your eye out. There's many more. Some that are not so bad, others that are very extreme, but it's so that people learned to follow the law. Also, people had the right to know the laws as they have pillars on the streets showing what the laws are. So even though not everyone can read, there are those who can, who could then be known as like your law speakers. They tell the people of laws that could be broken. Moving on to the next one. Again, if you need to finish writing, pause it now because I'm moving on. The Assyrians are going to be an empire that rise up when these Babylonians fall. And the main reason why these Assyrians are going to take the place of Babylon, every kingdom / empire always has an end and a beginning. They always fall at some point, or they get taken over. In this case, our powerful empire of the Assyrians are going to take over what was once Babylonia. And the way they did it, they had soldiers with some of the latest technology, and for this time, it was bronze weapons and armor. So like I said, when we talked about the 5 traits of civilization, the Assyrians had bronze weapons and armors that most people didn't have yet. So kind of like a game of rock, paper, scissors, their bronze weapons would always win. That is basically what was happening. Also, because of this technology, the technological advantage, they are going to end up conquering many lands throughout Mesopotamia. If they conquer someone, they're going to take over. That's all that means. And once they've conquered people, one unique thing that the Assyrians would do would install or put a person into power known as like a governor. Much like here in Missouri, we have a governor today. These governors would rule over certain territories, such as Missouri. And all this governor and the people under him had to do was pay tribute. Now, tribute is like a gift or payment of money. And when they gave this to the Assyrians, who have the best army in the world with the best technology, they're going to be using that very strong, best technologically advanced army to protect them. Pretty good. You're renting or paying for safety. Now, some of you would be a rebel and be like, well, I ain't paying. Well, if you're not going to pay, well, then that very advanced army will attack you instead. And, well, even if you're like, well, I'm going to defeat, you're not. They're a really good army. Most people are scared and intimidated, so they would just rather pay. Also, you weren't just attacked, and then you're like, well, I'll just run away. Well, they caught you, and not only did you lose, and you were caught, but now you're going to be forced into exile. And what exile means is you are driven from your homeland. And the most common way in which people were exiled was they were then put into slavery. So you are kicked out of your home, you're taken from your hometown, you become a slave, and you're sent to some faraway place in the empire that you have no clue where it is or what it is. You've never been there, and now you get to be a slave for the rest of your life. All because you said, I'm not paying. So most people are going to choose option 1 because, well, paying some stuff, like if we mine gold, paying some of that to be safe is much better than, well, being killed or becoming a slave and never seeing your family or friends again. Yeah, most people go with number 4. So, yeah. Okay, that's all I got for you for here today. The next thing I have for you is posting, and it is a Ed Puzzle video. And as you watch that video, it's going to be a review of these very things drawn out, showing how this worked as well. As you watch that video, some questions are going to pop up, and you will just type your answer on those questions that are on the website you are watching the video from. All right. Have a good rest of your Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow.